Project scheduling. So we are into module 5 of the PMdistilled learning environment. So we discussed about the basic definitions. We discussed about predictive project management, agile and hybrid project management. And we got into predictive project management. We already discussed about project initiation. There are two steps, that is creating the project charter and identifying the stakeholders. Then we got into the planning part of it. We started with collecting detailed requirements, product breakdown structure, work breakdown structure, work packages, WBS dictionary, bill of quantities, etc. Now, at this stage, we have the work breakdown structure and we know the work packages, and we have enough clarity to decompose those work packages into activities. Before discussing those finer aspects, let us discuss about why schedule management, proactive schedule management, is mandatory. So, as we discussed already, a project consists of multiple stakeholders. We have the owner, we have the contractors, we have the consultants, we have the subcontractors. In reality, these people may be using different tools for scheduling and schedule preparation and schedule monitoring and controlling, etc. Somebody may be using MS Project, somebody may be using Excel sheets, somebody may be using Primavera, somebody may be using project management information systems like Ranch Smart Project or Procore. And if somebody is using SAP, SAP itself has a project management module. So if people are using heterogeneous systems for project scheduling and monitoring and controlling, then it becomes more important to plan schedule management. Another aspect is the status updates on the schedule. Somebody may update the project progress on a weekly basis. Somebody else may update it on a fortnightly or monthly basis. So unless we get the correct status updates, unless these things are standardized, the project manager will never get the actual status of the project on time. So proper integration between these systems becomes very, very mandatory, and that must be taken care at the time of project scheduling or at the time of planning itself. Now, as we discussed already, at this stage, we have the work breakdown structure, and the lowest level in the work breakdown structure are the work packages, and most of them will be conforming to that 880 rule, which we discussed. That is, work packages must be between 8 hours and 80 hours chunks of work. Next step is decomposing those work packages into activities, and we get activity list. Once we have the activity list, the next most important and the crucial step, which calls for multi-trade collaboration, is the activity sequencing. So there are multiple trades like electrical, mechanical, piping, HVAC, etc., etc. There could be dependencies across these trades. So it becomes very important to take care of these dependencies while sequencing activities. And this calls for interdisciplinary coordination. Again, planning is, we need to plan all these things correctly. And once the activities are sequenced, so work packages, activity definition, then activity sequences. So this is the time when we create the real schedule. And once the schedule is prepared, when we in the first shot, when we create the schedule, sometimes the end date can be far beyond the desired end dates, and we optimize the schedule using fast tracking and crashing. So, and fast tracking and crashing must happen on the critical path. So, understanding of critical path is one of the most important aspects of professional project management. So, without understanding the significance of critical path on project management, one cannot manage the project properly. So, we will be discussing about critical paths, fast tracking, crashing, crash cost, normal cost, buffer, leads, lags, float. So all these things we'll be discussing in this particular module, that is module 5. So this is a very, very important module. So you should not proceed without understanding the details of scheduling. Now let us get into the mind map analysis of this particular module, that is a planning overview. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching this video lesson. This is part of the PMdistilled Knowledge Hub. So if you want to access the entire content of the PMdistilled Knowledge Hub, please visit pmri.in/PMdistilled. I'll repeat, pmri.in/PMdistilled. PMRI stands for Project Management Research Institute .in. Thank you. So here is the mind map of planning overview 2. So here, this mind map explains the key steps involved in schedule management. The first step is planning the schedule management. So as we discussed already, a project contains multiple stakeholders. They may be using multiple tools, and they may be updating the schedules at different intervals. So we need to integrate all these tools into a cohesive, integrated project schedule. So continuous integration of these independent schedules into an integrated project schedule is mandatory for the project manager to see the overall status or overall progress of the project. This calls for a lot of standardization on activity sizing, the frequency of updation of the plan versus the actual status of these activities, etc. Otherwise, the project manager will have to operate without proper details. The second step is defining the activities. So as we discussed already, the project as an input to schedule development, we have the work packages. We have the WBS and the work packages. The next step is decomposing those work packages into activities. And once the activities are sequenced or activities are defined, we get the activity list. Then we sequence those activities based on their dependencies. That is step 3. And step 4, we estimate the activity durations. If I put one person on a job, it may take 10 days. But if I put 2 people on the same job, it may take 6 days. So we estimate So based on the desired duration, we can, or based on the availability of resources, we can estimate the activity durations. Then step number 5, we develop the project schedule. And step number 7 is resource leveling. That means once we create a schedule, sometimes some resources may be overloaded, some resources may be underloaded. So the resources which are overloaded, that must be level to the desired level. That means by and large, people should not be loaded for more than 8 hours because they cannot work continuously beyond 8 hours per day. Then resource smoothing, that is step number 8. So based on through trial and error, we have to ensure that nobody is terribly underloaded and nobody is overloaded. By and large, all resources are loaded to the tune of 7 hours per day, 7 or 8 hours per day. That is resource smoothing. Then optimizing leads and lags. So in order to achieve the desired end dates, we may have to sometimes bring in leads. Lead means some amount of parallelism. Lag means always waiting time. So we have to optimize leads and lags. And then the schedule may go for reviews, etc. Sometime, and the most important type of review is the constructability review. That means we might have done a beautiful schedule, but if it is not technically feasible, if it is not practical, no point in doing it. For that purpose, we do constructability reviews. And once we have enough confidence on the schedule and all the concerned stakeholders agree to it, then we baseline the schedule. That is step number 10. When we say baseline the schedule, after that, any major changes to the schedule, if you have to revise it, it has to follow a change management procedure. So these are the steps we'll be discussing in the rest of this module. So that is about that is a mind map of planning overview and scheduling. Now, so if you want to, you can always refer the entire project map, PMdistilled Learning Hub, by going to pmri.in/PMdistilled. So this lesson is for those people who are using the PMdistilled Learning Hub for mastering standards-based professional project management. So this resource is open, so you can always access the entire learning environment by going to pmri.in/PMdistilled. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.